Okay, so the purpose of our meeting today is to discuss James. His mother has expressed some concerns that she's noticed at home over the years, and especially this year. She felt like she needed to bring it up to us. So let's go ahead and start with some introductions just so we know who's in attendance.
I'm Miss H. I'm his ELAR teacher.
I'm Ms. A, and I'm his social studies teacher.
Okay, so just to kind of bring it up, Mom says that she's noticed over the years some difficulty in the area of writing, that anytime it's at home and he has writing homework, he is having meltdowns and he's really frustrated with the work, throwing pencils, almost like a tantrum is the way Mom described it, happening at home with written work. She said she's kept track of his assessments over the years, and so she said in kindergarten there was no issues. In first grade she didn't think anything of his test scores because it didn't show any deficits, but then starting in second grade she noticed, specifically in the areas of spelling, punctuation, just overall, his total language scores were a little bit low at a 46, along with maps and diagrams at a 28. So those scores were in the 20s. His spelling, capitalization was in the 30s. Punctuation was in at a 35, and then maps and graphs were low as well. But then she says, going on, his grades were still okay. Second, third grade. In third grade, he had all A's and B's, so she didn't feel a need to bring it up. But then as it's progressively gone on, she's noticed spelling is, hindering him with writing. In sixth grade on his testing, he had a 23 in the area of spelling. Capitalization was at a 38. Punctuation was at a 38. Capitalization went up. Usage and expression overall was a 40, and total language is a 45. So that's pretty low. But then, same grade level, sixth grade, on the state achievement tests, didn't score low. So it was only on the Iowa test of basic skills that he's showing to be low, but in this other area he wasn't. So here we are, 8th grade now, and Mom just finally felt like it was time that maybe she talked to the school about what she's seeing and if we have any concerns for him. So I'm going to go ahead and let you talk as ELAR teacher and see what you're seeing in the classroom.
Excuse me. So far with James, he reads really well, but anytime he has to respond or give a writing response, he overall does not do well.
Okay.
In my class, he has difficulties with maps and diagrams, but his reading is also very well, just he has trouble with that. And when we have assignments where he actually has to answer written responses, he has a very hard time.
Okay, so y'all are seeing that he struggles with written response. So in class, when he's struggling, is there anything specifically you're doing to help him out, accommodate him?
I give him sentence starters just to kind of...
Okay, like prompts?
Yes, to kind of push him in the right direction, kind of give him an idea, get his brain going.
Okay.
If I know that there's maps or diagrams in the readings we're doing, I explain them before he starts to avoid the tantrums and...
Okay, just has he ever, speaking of tantrums, has he ever thrown a tantrum in your classroom?
Yes, when he can't figure out a map or a diagram.
So when really frustrated in class, you saw tantrums. What about an ELAR?
If it's not a tantrum, he'll just shut down. He'll put his head down. Doesn't want to do it.
Shuts down tantrums. Okay, so, so we see that he's struggling a little bit in reading, or not in reading. I'm sorry, in writing. But he also is struggling with maps. He's struggling a little bit with the behavior, I guess you would say, if he's throwing fits and tantrums and stuff at school. Mom says it's to the extreme, yelling, upset, crying, throwing markers. So we need to decide, I guess, what is the biggest problem, and how do we want to kind of help the problem? Would you say behavior other than when working on written responses is behavior an issue?
No.
Okay, so he's not like talking excessively or up walking around or anything like that. What about focus? Mom also did mention she at one point had a concern and thought there could be some possible ADHD going on, but no one from school has ever said anything.
He loses focus when he doesn't understand things.
When he doesn't understand. And is it typically just with like the maps and writing?
Yes.
And
Yeah,
okay.
I can say the same.
So like with reading, because he reads on grade level, does he stay focused when y'all have to read passages?
For the most part, yeah.
Or in like reading groups and stuff?
Yeah,
Okay.
he stays on track.
So the main issue is the writing. And it sounds to me like the behaviors come when the writing is too difficult, or the maps at times when it is maps. But overall, the main focus or the main issue is writing, which could be our focus. Okay,
Yes.
so main problem's going to be, we're going to focus on the writing. At this point, due to his testing scores, I don't think that it's necessary to refer to special education. I'm thinking maybe if we put some accommodations in place for him in writing, that you guys are already doing, because you say, you know, like you pre-teach it and talk about it first. If we put some accommodations in place, then maybe he could be successful without needing to be in special education. And that's okay. We can do things like that. If we put these in place and monitor them, and then say like in another 3 to 4 weeks, we come back and say, hey, how's that working? Is it working for him? Is it not? If it's not, then we probably need to move forward. Kind of like what we do with tier groups. You know, we have tier 1s where you're right where you need to be. This is kind of, we're going to put them like tier 2 in writing. I know that doesn't happen. We normally focus tiers on like reading and math, but we're going to do a couple things to try to see if he needs some help. And if not, then we'll get the referral process started to refer him to special education to see if there's a disability in the area of writing. So, thinking of writing, and then with your maps and stuff, some things we can do, you said prompts, provide prompts. Okay, pre-teach it. What are some other things we can do to help him be successful with writing?
Maybe let him know ahead of time what the prompt is going to be, maybe a couple of days ahead, so that way he
Okay,
might have time to.
so provide prompts, and I'm gonna put maybe like 2 days in
Yeah.
advance? Okay. 2 days in advance. Okay. We'll give him prompts. So spelling was crucial, because in the testing, spelling was always in the 20s. So something that we could possibly provide is like common misspelled word list.
Okay.
Okay, so we'll put in there word lists. We can also, when it comes to grading, not count off for the spelling, because we know it's an area that he struggles in, and we don't want him to fail a class or fail an assignment based off of the spelling. So we'll do no counting off for spelling. Okay. Word lists, don't count off for spelling, pre-teach it, providing prompts. Something else too that kids could possibly use, Chromebooks. Your classroom has Chromebooks, right?
Yes.
So maybe, it might be a little bit more difficult in social studies, but when he's having to write something, whether it's a draft or planning something out, or even like the final copy, maybe providing a Chromebook, because it has the spell check for him to use. And then that way he knows, like, hey, don't worry about the spelling, because you're using a program that's going to help you spell. Same thing, maybe your sheets give him the questions of what he needs to type out, but still maybe let him type it. That way he has spelling, or help give it to help him give him the words, whatever you see fit. If it's something small that he can't necessarily, like type up or whatever. So we'll do the Chromebook. And then we'll just do spelling help. Okay. I don't know how well he would use it, but if you see fit, maybe a dictionary.
Yeah.
Because that is something that they typically get to use on testing, state testing. So a dictionary. Okay, well, I think we've got some things in place that are going to be great. So let's go ahead and start implementing these, and then we'll meet back and see how they're helping him. Okay?
Sounds good.